Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Talk Spicy. I'm Coach Gene Clemens. Thank you for joining me wherever you would join me. Rate the show, comment, agree, disagree, but whatever you do, keep it spicy. 5-star ratings are appreciated. If you're joining me on the YouTube channel, you know what to do. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. I'm not even trying to hold you today. I'm not here for a long time. I'm here for a good time, and I'm starting today with some fresh hate. Fresh hate. You know who I hate the most? Who I hate more than any other person in this world. And I know they say you're not supposed to hate people. Like that's what my grandma used to say. Well, you're not supposed to hate anybody, baby. You're supposed to love everybody. You can dislike them, but you can't hate them. No, no, no. I hate this person. I hate they. They, I absolutely despise they. If I saw they right now, I would slap they in the face because they are cowards. They have no backbone. They never have anything good to say. They always have negative things to say, and they have negative things to say in the most inopportune times. They never tell you who they are. See, one of the good things about coming around when journalism was still like journalism and learning the game the way that the game was supposed to be played from a journalist standpoint is that you realize that back when they used to say back when there was a legitimate they were backed up by sources that the journalists had in their pocket just in case they got sued, because libel was a real thing. And just smearing somebody's name for the sake of people looking onto it came with like backlash. It came with consequences. You couldn't just sit out here and say, "Oh well, they've said that you're an awful teammate, and they've said that you can't do this, this, and this," without having some legitimate people in the back that you cleared with your editor, right? That says, "Oh no, this person said it and this person said it, but they asked to be anonymous in case we have to in a liable case. They know I have their names in the books," right? So that's how it used to be. But when journalism and tabloids essentially merged into this new journalistic media society that we live in now, it allowed people to use they, and they really mean me, or really mean some hater. Not somebody that's willing to go. I mean, that's resource searches. Just, hey, this is how I feel, but I'm too afraid to just say how I feel. I don't have enough backbone to stand on what I believe, because what I believe is most likely just hate. It's not real. And so I hide behind the they because I know I can. Because I know I can. And no one questions me on it. So I'm watching an interview on Twitter. Well, part of an interview on Twitter with Kayvon Thibodeau and Andrew, I believe Andrew Siciliano. And Siciliano says, "Hey, they say, this and that, and they've accused you of not being the hardest worker or not being dedicated." And Thibodeau's response was, but who's the they? And I wish he would have went one step further. I wish he would have asked Andrew, "Hey, are you the they? Are you they?" okay, these people, they are saying this. What are you saying? Like, flip it right back on Andrew. He's a journalist. He's a person who talks for a living, right? He should be able to respond to that. See, the thing that I don't believe that our players do enough of is they don't do enough pushback. They don't do enough of the thing. They don't do enough of the thing where there may be a question asked, right? They don't do enough of that thing where there may be a question asked, and the way the question is asked is inappropriate or it doesn't make any sense. So they just don't respond. That's what they should do. They don't respond, or they try to like give the corporate answer. But what they really should do is flip it right back on the person that asked the question. Well, what do you believe? Do you agree with what they say? Do you think they have a point? What have you seen from me that tells you that they are right? Why do you listen to they? Because at the end of the day, accountability matters. And we shouldn't just be looking to the players for accountability. Now, I would argue this is partly Kayvon Thibodeau's fault, right? Kayvon Thibodeau had an opportunity to go to HBCU, decided to go to Oregon. Now, granted, cool, whatever. Go to Oregon. Facilities great, you know, whatever it might be. I get it. But he's not surrounded himself with people who have his best interest at heart, who can protect him and cocoon him from that type of attack. And then in this process, who is Kayvon Thibodeau sitting down with? The very people and the very outlets and entities that question his abilities. Meanwhile, the people who stand behind him, the people who root for him, the people who believe he can be a talent, the people who want to do nothing more than to push his star, they don't get the opportunity to interview. They don't get an opportunity for him to sit down with them. Why? Because their platform isn't big enough. But here's what I know. The person makes the platform big, right? The person makes the platform big. JSU, Jackson State, didn't have a big platform. Deion Sanders comes in, JSU's platform's big. The people make the platform big, and it takes no time. If I interviewed a superstar player today with my a little over 1,000 Twitter followers and probably less than 1,000 Instagram followers and about 1,000 on Facebook and my 2,600 subscribers on YouTube, if I did an interview with a superstar, it's going to do the same social numbers as if ESPN did it. Why? Because somebody with a big platform is going to retweet it. And then somebody else with a big platform is going to retweet it. And all of a sudden, it's going to still do the millions of hits that it would do if it was on ESPN. See, that's the part of the game. But ESPN has the name. And I ain't mad at ESPN. This isn't a beef with ESPN. I love ESPN. This isn't a beef with it. I'm talking to the player. I'm talking to the player. You don't want to be bombarded with theys. Then go to the places that are going to stand up for you. Because this draft process has enough people who are willing to cut you down. You don't need to sit down with them and talk. You don't need to convince them. We know that anytime people start using they're normally lying. Let's keep it a buck. When people start using the word they're normally lying. And why? Because they gives them the opportunity to say whatever they want without it sticking to them. If I want to say someone's terrible, I can just say they say he's not very good. But if you know me, you know that's not what I do. I'm not on here saying, well, they say Kenny Pickett is going to be another one of those guys who rolls up the ladder, rolls up the draft boards quickly, and then go into the NFL and do nothing because he has a background of doing nothing. I don't say they. I say that. I, Gene Clemens. And you know what happens if I'm wrong? I say, I'm wrong. I came in, I said Josh Allen wasn't worth the first-round pick. He proved me right. He proved me right for a season and a half. Then for the next 2 seasons, dude was definitely worth a first-round pick. Who knew? Oh, that's right. All of you other people who said that he was going to be a really great talent knew, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Your hit to strikeout ratio is skewed to the strikeout. My hit to strikeout ratio when it comes to these things is phenomenal. I normally don't miss when I say somebody's going to be a bust. I normally don't miss. But when I do, I just say, hey, I was wrong. Some of you people are still out there trying to make us believe that Lamar Jackson's not a good quarterback. That Lamar Jackson's not one of the best quarterback talents we have in the NFL. That's how classless some of you are when it comes to this. And all of the ones that don't want to admit it, you all hid behind the they. You all hid behind they. They said he can't do this. Well, they say that his problem is this. They talk about him as if he can't do that. It's a they. What do you have to say about it? What do you believe? I thought you got into this business in order to have your voice heard, not to have they talk all the time. Except every time I turn around, when I hear people talk, I hear them say they. What do you believe? I believe Kayvon Thibodeaux is going to be a talent. A talent. Do I think he's getting 20 sacks a season? No. Do I think he can be a consistent double-digit sack guy? Yes. Do I think there's a chance he can be like a Jadeveon Clowney, where the sack numbers aren't like phenomenal, but he does so many things well that he's a really great value to a team? Yes. Because I don't look at these positions as if you have to have somebody that gets 15 sacks every year. I don't think that's sustainable. If you look at the Watts, JJ had a run and then a fall off, like a precipitous just drop all of a sudden. There was no gradual decline. He went from phenomenal to broken. You don't think the same thing's going to happen to his brother? Meanwhile, Jadeveon Clowney has just continued to be Jadeveon Clowney. He's going to get you some sacks. He's going to get you a lot of pressures. He's going to play in the offense's backfield. He has multiplicity in the way he plays. His value has not dropped from what he is in the NFL. He is still that in the NFL. The same thing with the Leonard Williams. But they would tell you that those people have underachieved. they would tell you that those people were not worth the draft picks that they were taking at. And they are stupid. So before you start saying they, if you really believe it, say it. We'll respect you more for it. You're going to get something wrong. And when you do, just say, I was wrong, and move on. Don't try to give caveats. Notice I didn't give any caveats for Josh Allen. I didn't say, oh, well, they changed the offense around to better suit him. They got the ball out of his hands. They put talent around him. I didn't say all of that. I just said, nope, I was wrong. Good for him. Great for him. Great for Buffalo. It's still all for naught, by the way, if they don't win a championship, because they ran a playoff quarterback out of town in order to bring him in. They purposely destroyed their playoff talented team in order to bring him in and then build it again. So you don't do that just to get to the playoffs and get to the second and third round. You do that to win a championship. So if they don't win a championship, it was all for naught. But I can't say Josh Allen's not worth the first round draft pick anymore, because that's just not true. See, you can talk spicy, but when you talk spicy, you have to be ready when you get heartburn. You take your medicine, you heal, and you keep it moving. Some of you are so afraid. You're so afraid that you won't even step out on your own. And so we keep hearing they. But boy, I tell you, every time you say they, I get a little less respect for you. Every time you say they, I believe you're lying. And until you start saying names, I don't want to hear anything after the word they. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Talk Spicy. I'm Coach Gene Clemens. You do this thing a few times a week. Rate the show, comment, agree, disagree. But whatever you do, keep it spicy. 5-star ratings are appreciated. If you're joining me on the YouTube channel, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. We have 7 days to get to 3,000. I need y'all to go ahead and hit that subscribe button. To all my Facebook, to all my Twitter peeps, I appreciate you. 10 toes down. Until next time, peace.